Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the top of the hour. It's so great to see and engage with all of you remotely, and I hope that you will enjoy the program this evening. I just wanted to give a quick warm welcome to you all for joining us through the virtual space. My name is Akemi Chan Imai, and I'm the program manager at the Oakland Asian Cultural Center. OACC's mission is to build vibrant communities through API arts and cultural programs that foster intergenerational and cross-cultural dialogue, understanding, collaboration, and social justice. And we're very excited to present today's event in partnership with the Chitresh Das Institute. So we'll learn more about them and the dancers later on. Before we begin the program today, we would like to first offer a land acknowledgement. OACC is physically based in the San Francisco Bay Area, so we would like to acknowledge the legacy and the presence of the indigenous peoples who have and continue to steward this land. And so as I'm reading this, I encourage you all to use this native land website, which will be posted in the chat, as a starting point to just learn whose land you're living on. And now I will share a land acknowledgement provided by Canyon Sayers Roots. She is a member of the Costanoan, Ohlone, and Chumash people, and she and her mother, tribal chairwoman Anne-Marie Sayers, are involved in the preservation of Indian Canyon to provide it as a space for all indigenous peoples in need of land for ceremony. We are in Huichin. The first language spoken on these lands is Chochenyo. We are gathered on the traditional lands of those whom we know today as the Ohlone people. Ohlone territory spans from San Francisco, east towards Oakland, and south towards Monterey. 8 language dialects exist within this territory, and historically there are over 60 village sites. It is important that we recognize the original stewards of this territory. We pay our respect to elders, both past and present. We acknowledge that not only are we on their lands, but that they are still here and part of the community. There are 3 active community groups that have indigenous ancestry to this territory, and they are Confederated Villages of Lishan, Himaren of Ohlone, Bay Miwok, Plains Miwok, and Muwekma tribe. Thank you. So now we will open this program by actually playing Agni for you, the short film, and I would just like to preface it with an introduction. Agni is a short film created in collaboration by Charlotte Moraga for the concept and choreography, Alam Khan for the music, and Alka Raghuram for direction, editing, and poetry. The dancers featured are Kritika Sharma and Mayuka Sarukkai. Agni is a response to the changing elements as well as a comment on the current climate crisis and devastating wildfires of recent years that are becoming a significant part of our California landscape. Agni won the award for Best Mini Arts and Fashion Film at the June 2021 iHollywood Film Festival. So without further ado, please enjoy Agni.
इस राख में है अंगारे उस रात के, सितारों ने आग बरसाई थी जब ज़मीं पर। फलक से ये नज़ारा कुछ जश्न सा लगता था। सहमा था समा, दहशत थी हर दरख्त, दरिंदे और परिंदे के अंदर। ये क्या हुआ, क्यों हुआ, किसकी खता है? वक्त के खाते में लिखा है हर अमल का बयां। क्यों फलक है खौफ में, समंदर बेचैन है, राख बन गई है ज़मीं की जुबान।
Wow, that was every time I get chills watching that. So we are now going to segue into a roundtable discussion where we are going to invite the dancers and also the artistic director, Charlotte. And I will start by giving introduction to her to start us off. Charlotte Moraga is a kathak dancer, choreographer, and educator. She is currently the artistic director of the Chitresh Das Institute, and in addition to training the next generation in the legacy of Pandit Chitresh Das, Charlotte is committed to creating new work in kathak that resonates with the moment. And Charlotte, in Agni specifically, Charlotte was involved in the concept and choreography. So welcome to the virtual stage, Charlotte.
Namaskar. Thank you for having us. Very excited. I would like to invite the dancers to the platform. I would like to start with Kritika Sharma. There's Kritika, Mayuka Sarukkai. They're two of the dancers that were in the film. Shruti Pai and Gauri Bhatnagar. So I'm very excited to speak with the four of you. Obviously, Kritika and Mayuka, you were in the short film. But what a lot of people don't know is that that short film is just actually a small piece of a new production entitled Mantram, which is loosely based, structurally based around the Panchabhuta, the Mahapanchabhuta, fire being one of the 5 great elements. But the dancers in the entire production are Chitresh Das Institute fellows. So Kritika, Mayuka, and Gauri, and Shruti, as well as Ishani Basak, who's not here today. So I want to first ask you to introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about your kathak journey, as well as what you do when you're not doing kathak. So why don't we start with Kritika?
Namaskar, my name is Kritika. I have been learning kathak for, I think, 16 years now. I graduated in 2018, and I just graduated from the University of Washington in Seattle. So when I'm not doing kathak, I usually do some video things. I work with Chitresh Das Institute in video and marketing. And I'm also interested in policy, and I'll be working in policy this fall. My kathak journey has been very special. I've been able to, like everyone else here, been trained with Pandit Chitresh Das, and have enjoyed my time both in the youth company and as well as a fellow right now. So I'm really excited to be here.
At Mayuka?
Sure, namaskar. It's really wonderful to be here as well. I think similar to the others, started kathak pretty young. I think it's been around 15 years. Started when I was 9, and was also in the youth company for a while, and really experienced a lot of growth throughout that experience. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I think it was a very, a very significant part of my life journey. Right now, I am a data scientist at a nonprofit called Recidiviz. We're working to end mass incarceration, improve outcomes for people in the criminal justice system. I think so much of that has also been informed by the way that we engage with our community in Chitresh Das Institute and in the dance community. So very excited to be here too.
Go ahead, Shruti.
Namaskar, everyone. My name is Shruti. Very excited to be here. Very excited about Agni and about Mantram coming up. I have been dancing since I was 7 years old, so it's been about 14 years for me, and it's just been such an amazing experience just growing up with Kathak and growing up with all of my Guru sisters who are here today. We all joined the youth company at the same time, so they've been around for everything and every part of my dance journey. So it's really amazing to be back dancing and to be back with everyone. It's very exciting. When I'm not dancing, I am a full-time college student. I am going into my senior year at UC Berkeley, and I'm studying public health and data science. So excited to be here.
And Gauri.
Namaskar, my name is Gauri. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super thrilled and excited for Mantram. I started like these lovely ladies when I was about 6, so it's been about 15 years of dancing. I am now a teacher. I graduated youth company in 2019, so I've now been teaching kathak for about 2 years. And when I'm not doing kathak, I work with kids with special needs. And I'm working towards being a registered behavioral therapist.
Awesome. So I'd like to kind of start off the discussion with the film Agni was a process. And it was a long process because we started, I think, Kritika, you reminded me that we had our first in-person rehearsal for Mantram back in January of 2020. And then in February, we were shut down. Studios closed. We were, like everyone else, we were, secluded in our homes and communicating vaguely on Zoom. After a while, we figured out that Zoom was a thing. And it wasn't until very recently that we started up again with rehearsals for Mantram. Originally, it was supposed to premiere last October, and so we pushed it back to this October, mid-October, October 15th, 16th, 17th, 2021. So, in the middle, we're thinking, okay, what are we going to do? What can we do? Okay, let's do a film. And, when you're it's very, very different than planning or preparing for a show, for a live stage rehearsal. So the film's only 4 minutes long, but there was a lot of time. We were in the theater for maybe 8 hours, I think it was 8 hours, which is more than we would be even for a show, maybe. That is only 4 minutes long. So I would like Kritika and Mayuka, if you could speak to how that was for you, going into the theater in December of 2020 to make the film?
I think it was, part of the conception of it was just capturing the moment that we were in at the end of 2020. And I remember during the time or the months before, like fires were ravaging the state, and we were in the middle of COVID, in the middle of all kinds of political crises. And so coming into the theater, as you say, 8-9 hours with a mask on, dancing more than I admittedly had danced in a while at that point, was super challenging. But I think it to me felt like a really great release, just a physical release of all this stuff that we'd been building up over the year, and to then see something on the other end of that, like this really beautiful film, was really satisfying.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think similarly, like it was very mixed feelings because on one hand, we were still very much in the middle of it all. Nothing was getting better at that point. But at the same time, like I remember the first moment of just like being in the same space as Mayuka. I live in Seattle right now, so we're separated by states. And just being in the same room as her and like being able to share a dance space was really, really special. And I think it reminded me how much community is involved with dance and how important community is. That's what the rehearsals were too. We were all rehearsing together over Zoom, and just to be able to be together in some way was so important. And that's what we're bringing this fall to Mantram too, is just being able to dance together and showcase something so nice.
So yeah, I know that we were having regular weekly rehearsals or class over Zoom, and I know Shruti and Gauri, you are a part of that process. When you saw the film, how did it feel compared to the choreography we were working on over Zoom in class?
I think that for me, it definitely felt different. It's hard to do and kind of understand the music and the choreography when you're not there in person and dancing with others. But I definitely think that being over Zoom has its kind of upside of really focusing on things that you can work on. So I found it very interesting to see the film and then be doing it over Zoom and not in person. So
I think even when dance classes and rehearsals used to be in person primarily, just going to the rehearsals and dancing the choreography, sometimes I never really got the chance to like see what it looked like from like a different perspective, from like an outside person. So that was the case even before dance was virtual, and now that like difference is even more apparent just because like now our classes are on this tiny screen in our like bedrooms, and we're not really together seeing the dance like as a entire like piece anymore. So seeing the like transition from everything happening on Zoom and us kind of doing everything in isolation for the most part to seeing a complete like piece of art like result from that it was pretty incredible to like watch it. So that the final result was it was an amazing experience being able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of dancing going on for just a few minutes of film, and I know that Kritika and Mayuka, you hadn't danced together in the same space for, I think you might have even said it, for a couple of years. So I know you spent a lot of time just kind of like, oh, what is it like actually to dance together? Because we do a lot of dancing together as well as solo work. Along those lines, we have been in rehearsal for Mantram, which is to premiere in October, recently over the summer. And so how does it feel when you're doing this piece? The music is Agni, and it's only really half of the fire section. So with there's basically 6 sections in Mantram, Brahman, and then all of the elements, Akasha, the space, Brahman, the divine element, the Surya state, Vayu, the wind, and then Agni, fire, and then of course Apa, water, and Prithvi, earth. And these elements all have a tremendous amount of energy, and they have energy that is life-sustaining and healing. Like we need water, we need air, we need all these things, right? But also too much can be incredibly devastating. Fire in our tradition is a destructive force, but it also can pave way for fertile ground and new creation. So this idea of repetition and cyclical movement and cyclical sound in the vibration that creates, and tuning into that vibration as a way to sort of transform and go to a higher plane is really kind of about, in my mind, what mantram is about. But now that we have been in person and we're actually the logistics of working together, how is that different for you than it's been over Zoom or even doing the film? And any of you can answer.
I think Shruti mentioned this. What's really special about this group is we did all start youth company in the same year, and we've been dancing together for so long. I forgot about this because it's been about 3 years since I've been in the company, but we all are very connected as dancers, and we have a really strong awareness of each other and space, and also how to dance together. I think we joke around about being like telepathically communicated sometimes because we can just communicate changes and things with just looks. We'll just dart eyes through the mirror and like we know what we're talking about. So that's been really, really fun to engage with because as you said, a lot of this piece involves some improvisation. It involves a lot of innovation. And sometimes you do give us free rein with sections. And it's been really fun to bounce off of each other's energies, which we can't do virtually. It's been fun to kind of observe each other's strengths now that we've all been dancing for so long. We have our own individual styles and strengths, what we do well. And it's been really nice to have those complement each other and be a very cohesive team, I would say. So sharing that energy has just been the best thing ever.
For sure, I totally echo that, and also think it's really cool, Charlotte Didi, being in the same room as you now, as and kind of the working relationship that we have, where you have this really beautiful vision for the show, and then are also kind of discussing with us. Like we did a brainstorming activity the other day, listening to the music and trying to pull out what we felt from that. So I've really enjoyed this kind of more collaborative process of jointly imagining how do we want our audience to feel, how can we use our training and our knowledge of the dance and then push the boundaries in interesting ways. And I'm curious also to know, Charlotte, how that's been for you, working with us in that kind of new context.
I mean, for me, it's been a dream. I have missed so much working with you all, and you're adults now, and you have these incredible, this incredible intelligence and this incredible spirit and this incredible sensitivity. And Kritika, you said it, you guys communicate by just giving each other looks. I mean, and I feel like you can read my mind sometimes too. I feel like you're just really, that we're all, like you were saying, it is somewhat of it's very different for me because it's not, when you were in the youth company, I would choreograph and say, you go here and you do this and you do that and you do this. And though I am choreographing, there's a lot of individual little solos and little nuances and things that you just naturally bring, and I am really loving seeing that and letting you take that a little more to new places. And so it's really a dream just seeing, and I mean, Guruji would be so proud that you are continuing to dance. I mean, after 15, 16 years, at this time in your lives when you all are doing such important work outside of dance, a very socially responsible and very important humanitarian work outside of dance, and you bring that to your essence, and the fact that you are continuing to develop as dancers while doing this work is just inspiring to me. You're an inspiration to me. So I think, it's been a dream to work with all of you. And I can't wait to our next rehearsal. I'm excited. I have something new. Gauri, did you want to say anything to this?
I mean, I think Kritika and Mayuka pretty much said it. That, you know, we're all so connected because I think that we've danced together for so long. We know each other. And like Kritika said, we have this telepathic connection. And so I think that definitely being back in the studio and just feeling that energy again, being together, being able to hear the feet sounds all together, your energy that you give us, Charlotte Didi. So definitely being back is just amazing to have once again, and being back with all of you guys is awesome. So.
And Kritika, I know you worked really hard on a very short little trailer for Mantram. Why don't we share that trailer with our audience so they can just get a sneak peek at what's going on inside the studio?
Sure, yes, let's do it. I would love to share it.
Okay, that makes me so excited. So, when you found out that you were going to be dancing on different sizes of resonant boxes, basically nested boxes, what went through your mind? What were you think? What did you think?
I think like this is going along with the rehearsal that we had in January. Everything about the glimpses I had gotten for this show just like really excited me because it was really nothing like we'd ever done before. At the January rehearsal that I attended, it was just me and Charlotte Didi. It was on the 1st of January, which was, I don't know, I thought that was cool. And she just played one of the songs for me and said, just follow my lead. And we were basically jellyfish in the water. And it was a very surreal experience. I felt like I was actually submerged in the ocean. And I think just adding these boxes, adding so many levels of creativity, adding so many levels of just like there's so many elements to this show beyond the dance, and having like seeing that all come together is really exciting in rehearsal. So I'm just thrilled to be a part of it, really.
Yeah, there's way more than 5 elements. As a pun, anyway. Sorry.
That's a good one. I totally feel that, just the excitement. And I think with the boxes is especially cool to me because we talk a lot about what it means to do a traditional dance in the contemporary context, I guess. And here, what's really beautiful is kathak is already super resonant, right? And super centered around the rhythms and what we're doing with our feet. And so this so-called contemporary aspect of bringing in the prop is really just a way to place additional emphasis on one of the core aspects of the dance itself. So it excites me that, you know, dancing on these boxes, now our audience will be able to appreciate even better kind of the complexity of the footwork.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, before I say anything else, I want to apologize if my Wi-Fi is disrupting my video quality at all. Yeah, Wi-Fi is not the strongest here, but I completely agree with what Kritika and Mayuka were saying. What I love about this piece is that all these like new elements that we haven't really incorporated into our dance before, such as the nesting boxes and even just how contemporary the music is in comparison to our previous works. I've really enjoyed being almost forced to think outside the box and think in these like new ways and explore dance in all these ways that I've pretty much been uncharted territory for me. So that's made this whole process of choreographing this piece really exciting and really fun. we've been spending hours in the studio, but honestly, none of it, I was not bored once, just because this whole process has been just really fun. And another thing that I really like about this piece is like the way that like Charlotte is choreographing it. It really seems like every single section of this piece, like every second of the choreography is very intentional. Like almost every single subset, every single like mini composition in the piece is meant to convey some sort of message, because the overall show, like Mantram, is supposed to send a very powerful message and leave the audience with some important like feeling to take away. So I've just really enjoyed seeing like this whole piece come together, because I feel like it is really meaningful, and the audience will really enjoy seeing the finished product.
I noticed on the trailer, Shruti, that your toe kind of went off the box a little bit. Did you have any harrowing moment on dancing on any of those boxes?
It was not. I was honestly quite terrified at first. I can't say that I'm fully comfortable dancing on those boxes yet, because we're used to pretty big dance studios, pretty big stages. So it's something that I haven't really had to think about before. I've never really had to worry about falling off the edge of my dance floor in the middle of a piece. So it is really scary, but it's also really fun. Like I said, it's like being forced to think about dance in ways that I haven't before. So hopefully by the show time, I'll be a bit more secure on them. But yeah, it's really fun.
I think it's really funny. Sorry, I just wanted to like chime in with this box. I think it's really funny because as like children, when we learned to spin, our teachers would say like put tape around and like make a box or put pillows around. And now it feels like we've come full circle. But there's actually the threat of falling off. So I think it's just very funny in some ways.
One time when I was Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, after we started working on these boxes, I actually was thinking about revisiting the tape on the floor to make sure that I could turn within like a 2x2 foot space.
Tape is much, much, much better than what they used to do in the olden days, where they put knives in a circle. No, I've heard of that. I've actually never experienced it. But so you all have mentioned the music. Alam's music is very, very different. It's very evocative. And so Gauri, when you first heard the music, what came to mind? What were you feeling?
I don't think I felt anything specific. If anything, I remember sitting there just being really involved in the music and just kind of just wrapping my head around it, kind of figuring out beats, or just kind of automatically thinking of, okay, what would go with this? This is different. How would I do this? But definitely I was super excited. That was my first thought the minute I heard the music come on. I said, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I know it's going to be amazing. And it is. So I definitely think that hearing the music the first time it didn't throw me off necessarily, but definitely got me thinking in a deeper sense. And especially because we're doing elements, Shruti had said just a little while earlier that every single thing is specific. And I definitely think that with this music, you have to involve yourself in each element. You really have to think in different settings. If it's pouring, what would you do if you were in the middle of a fire? How would you act? Things like that. So I think that definitely, having to really involve yourself in becoming the element is kind of what went through my head. So I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
You had mentioned something about the music. Like I forget what your wording was, but wasn't at all intimidating, because it's not our usual traditional music. Like there's not a nagma, there's not a tika, there's not like tabla bowls like telling you what your feet should be doing and that sort of thing. So what did you think about that?
I wouldn't say it was intimidating. Definitely surprising. And not really knowing what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it. Again, like you said, there's no teka, there's no set anything that you know of. So definitely confusion and not knowing at all what you're going to do was definitely there, but there was a sense of repetition in some spots in the music. So having that and kind of knowing, okay, this is how many times this, could possibly repeat depending on where you are in the music. So just kind of knowing certain, spaces in the music helped a lot. But definitely just confusion and not knowing what was going to happen definitely went through my mind. Yes.
Alam's music, when I met with him back in was it 2019? I mean, we've been working on this project for so long. 2019, I think it was. We both wanted to do something. We use this word cinematic, and I feel like his music is really, really cinematic. I mean, when I listen to it, I could kind of see a movie play out in my head. And the thing, so Agni does have bowls in it. It's mastered and affected. It has the syllables of our dance. We for those who are listening who don't know, if you go your feet match that sound. And traditionally we recite a bowl and we dance a bowl, but all the rest of the music doesn't have any bowls, doesn't have any pika, even though we're dancing in 5/2. So that having to stay really aware and really sharp and really together, like the first section, when you're all kind of doing your solos and then you're coming back together, like there's not even a beat. Like how, and I watch you every time you're totally together. How do you do that?
I think this really goes back to what Kritika was saying earlier about our telepathic connection. Like so much of the mantram, like music, like you guys said, like there aren't very clear bowls that we're following. There aren't always these very specific compositions that we're like dancing along to. A lot of it is so like open-ended and open to interpretation. And I think the reason that we are able to like get through it is because I think we like we talked about earlier, we just know each other as dancers so well, and we're super in tune with each other, and that being on the same wavelength has, in my opinion, like never been more important in any piece until now. So yeah, I think that's like another way that I think I think for me in particular, but I think this would apply to all of us. I think that we're like really growing as dancers in that way, and like learning to like trust ourselves and like trust the people we're dancing with a lot more than we ever like really needed to. So yeah, that's been really fun.
I think also, like just gonna add to that I feel like part of it is also, Charlotte Daly, your choreography does feel very intuitive to us, and in many ways kind of, it like pulls on the right parts of the kinds of compositions that we've learned, but puts them in this new context and this new music. And I'm curious to hear from you, Charlotte, maybe also feel free to ask what you're going to say, just what the creative process has looked like for you, like when you walk into a studio or wake up in the morning and think about what mantram is going to look like. How do you do that? How does that come to you?
Well, this it's actually been really difficult because of the whole situation we've been in for the 1.5 years, COVID, and then we started doing in-person rehearsals, thinking, okay, we're all vaccinated, things are going to start opening up, and now we have this new variant, and things are questionable again. So living in this time of uncertainty, I've just become comfortable with uncertainty, and so I'll think it's going to be one thing, and then I'll see you guys and I'll think, no, it's going to be another thing. Or like when I got the boxes, I'm like, oh, well, this has the potential to do this, so it's going to be another thing. So honestly, it's changed so much since I first had the idea to do this. I mean, originally, the the beginning of this was when I danced, when you do a traditional solo and you start with a vandana, with a invocation to a particular deity. I did a solo over at Z Space in 2019, and my vandana was basically the seeds of mantram. It was the Gayatri mantram, and it was without music, because really, how to say this, mantram, like a beach mantram, is a vibe. It's, some people say it's a bowl or it's a sound, but what it is a vibration that you tune to, like you're an instrument, you're tuning to a tuning fork. It's a vibration that you tune to. So for us, a mantram is not necessarily a shlok. Om is, there's so many we do, right? For us, I mean, our mantram is diga, 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 or ta, te, te, ta, te, te, ta, over and over and over. That vibration is what literally goes to the core of us and transforms us and changes how we feel and how we think and how we connect and how aware we are. I mean, I know as dancers, you probably agree with me that you are most in tune to your five senses and the environment when you are deep in your dance, right? You're most conscious, you're most focused. And so that idea, that is what ended up being what mantram is about. Instead of bowl, it's not shlok, it's not Sanskrit shlok. Originally, it was going to be the different Sanskrit shlokas, but now it's really just about what is resonating within me right now in this time that we're in, where I mean, so much going on, right? And we're every day experiencing what everyone said was going to happen with climate change. We're literally experiencing it. We're now getting to the point where we don't even think, oh my God, the air quality is bad. We expect it. We like literally expect it. And in California, so this idea of, the elements and how it's not us affecting them, it's not them affecting us, it's that collaboration, it's that interaction, it's that resonance between us, right? And also what's resonating within you. I mean, the work that you're doing, Mayuka, all of you are doing actually, obviously you really care about the situation in the world and want to make it a better world. And so it's really what's resonating right now within me and what's resonating within you. And that's kind of determining. I mean, it's not even done. All the things that I thought we would do, it's changed already. And, even the costumes has changed. So much has changed. So it's really a very in the presence process. It's a very now in the presence process. And it happens in the studio, and it's working, but it's a being present process. And I think we need to take some questions from our audience. We don't have much more time. So if we have any, Akimi, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, thanks for thinking of us. We don't have any in the YouTube chat, but I do have some questions that we can reflect on while we wait for maybe people to think about some within the remaining time. And just wanted to verbally confirm that we do want to leave some time before the hour ends so that we can replay Agni now, that with all of the new information that all of you have shared, that we can rewatch and enjoy that together. So with that, I wanted to first send a question. Just kind of, I was reflecting on how all of you have, collectively decades of experience in kathak practice, and reflecting on how for the Bay Area, there was a time when all of these great gurus came and established Indian classical arts in the Bay Area. So for you all as dancers, and anyone can take this first crack at this, but what does it feel like to be part of this legacy, and how do you see yourself contributing to that legacy?
So for me personally, I feel very proud to be part of that. I know that when I tell people, oh, I do Indian classical dance, oh, what kind do you do? I do kathak. I see their eyes light up, and I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, when did you start? Where do you take classes? Are there other people that teach this? Do you know anyone in this area?" So for me to be able to, you know, help spread that information about these classical art forms, that brings me a lot of joy to be able to say that. And also now, since I've started teaching the little ones, um, I I just feel it an even more of a privilege to be able to share this information with them. And also having studied under Dadaji, um, I think it's this information and this wisdom that you would only find here, and that you just have this honor to be able to pass on. Um, so I find it an honor.
Anyone else want to weigh in on that question?
Similar to Gauri, so as I said before, I live in Seattle, and I have been doing my dance classes from my living room. And I have 9 roommates, and at one point they were all white. And I thought that was a very interesting experience for me because um, I think dance has been one of the main reasons that I've always been very proud of my culture. And bringing that forward to a space that is mostly a non-Asian space, it's often lacking a lot of international perspective. It's been very special to use dance as a way to further messages such as that of preserving heritage and culture, but then also when people ask about what our piece is about, we've done a piece in the past called Aranyakatha, which is about environmental justice, and then this piece has a climate change slant as well. Being able to share that art can make a difference in the world, and showing that there are cultures around the world, such as Indian culture, that is working hard to make a difference for our societies. I think that's a very special and very relevant thing for role for art to play today, and just being able to do that with my body, being someone like being able to carry that just within myself and being able to share that anywhere I am is a very high privilege, I think, for all of us, and I find that very special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really special. And why, yeah, you're all, others are welcome to respond to that as well. But I did want to lift up a question from Jay. Thank you so much. Jay's really excited about Mantram and can't wait to watch the show in person in October. They have a question for Charlotte specifically. With Mantram, what is the message you would like the audience to take forward? And I think that was a beautiful segue from Kritika talking about messages in the dances.
I mean, it is a very different work, as Kritika said, than anything we've done before, and it's very emotional for me, and it's very powerful for me. But I am trying and have tried to make it more abstract than a literal story, which we've done in the past, so that everyone can resonate with it in their own way. I mean, there's much to be passionate about today, and different people are passionate about different things, but there's much, and we're all, I think, in a place now where we're ready to shed things that are not working for us, and we're not just doing it because it's tradition, or we're not just doing it because it's what we're supposed to do. We're thinking about what's really meaningful to us, and we're ready to just shed things that are just not working for us. And I kind of want the audience to connect with that, and I want them. I mean, there are environmental messages throughout. I don't want to really give that away. I don't want to spell that out, but I just want people to connect with it and to resonate. I want it to resonate with them. And it's very abstract. It's very different. It's very different.
Yeah, thank you. It's very deep, and I think I just want to lift up one more question, just so that we have time for the film later. But just reflecting on, that we've all just been through your roundtable discussion, talking about how we are living in tumultuous times. We're living with uncertainty. We're having to become comfortable with uncertainty. Like I think, Charlotte, you said that earlier. So yeah, knowing that this is the new world that we are now in. What do you think kathak and the work of Chitresh Das Institute offers to address the issues we're facing today? Is there anything to reflect upon there?
Go ahead, Mayuka.
I guess one thought is, especially today, I think our the climate that surrounds us is so polarized and so filled with emotion and feeling. And I think the kind of cool thing about art and kathak is that it really harnesses feeling in a positive way, and that when you're an audience member in the room, you're just kind of plopped into your kind of feeling in that moment. You're just understanding what is surrounding you, and I think that builds a different kind of empathy. It kind of breaks down the walls of language or political belief or anything else, and lets the audience member explore kind of human to human what really matters. And so I feel like it feels really special to kind of create that feeling through the art.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. Just like how Charlotte Didi was saying earlier about how we're like all surrounded by all this horrible news every single day. It's something else, and it's to the point where we expect it now. We really forget how like awful some things that are happening right now. We kind of just like forget because it's just like a daily occurrence for us. It's almost our new normal. And I think since that is such a common feeling that we're experiencing these days, I think dance is a really important tool to use right now to send a message, because I think it can reach people in a different way and really send a message that I think a lot of us are kind of jaded about these days. So I think that now more than ever, like it's really important to use tools such as the arts and use dance to like send these messages in ways that people will really be able to like resonate with the message and really be able to take the feeling that it invokes and carry it with them every day.
Yeah, that beautifully said by all of you, really, truly. Thank you so much for cultivating this dialogue together. It's very easy to see, what a strong relationship you have with each other. So it's been an honor to, be able to observe and learn and listen to this discussion. We have about a few more minutes left, so I figured it might be about time to replay Agni. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. So we're going to replay Agni.
इस राख में है अंगारे उस रात के, सितारों ने आग बरसाई थी जब ज़मीं पर। फलक से ये नज़ारा कुछ जश्न सा लगता था। सहमा था समा, दहशत थी हर दरख्त, दरिंदे और परिंदे के अंदर। ये क्या हुआ, क्यों हुआ, किसकी खता है? वक्त के खाते में लिखा है हर अमल का बयां। क्यों फलक है खौफ में, समंदर बेचैन है, राख बन गई है ज़मीं की ज़ुबान।
Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that replay, and I hope that you enjoyed today's program with us. Thank you again so much for joining us this evening for this broadcast. And before you leave, if you do have a few minutes to fill out our survey link, we would greatly appreciate knowing what your experience was of today's program. So that would be very much appreciated. I also wanted to put in a plug. If you want to learn more about the Chitresh Das Institute, please visit their website, and they're also live on Instagram. So please follow their work. I'm definitely excited to learn more about Mantram coming up this fall. And finally, just want to give, again, my gratitude to the Chitresh Das Institute. Thank you, Celine, also Charlotte, Shruti, Gauri, Mayuka, Kritika, all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to work with us to partner on this event. So without further ado, I want to wish you all a great, happy Thursday, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.